Hey guys, it's TFNet. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another model kit review. This time it's going to be of the brand new Bandai Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Freedom High Grade Cosmic Era 1/44 scale Lightning Buster Gundam. Again, haven't gotten to Seed yet, but it is finally anything related to Seed is finally on Netflix, so I can finally get around to it soon. Probably build some kits while watching it. But I picked this up recently at my local hobby store, HobbyTown USA. I think it's been out in Japan for a few months now, so I'm getting mine a little bit late, but I was still very excited to see what was going on with this. I'm just going to jump right to the box here. This is a really well done packaging, kind of a mirrored image, if you remember, of when I reviewed the Dual Buster Gundam and how that packaging had Lightning Buster in the back there. You see all that wording there. Maybe I can get a little closer. You can see what's going on with like the Zaft right there, as well as Lightning Buster Gundam, the Seed Freedom logo. Just, again, fantastic artwork all throughout. Blue Bandai logo right there. On the top right, we have Bandai Namco, ages 8 and up, and a Seed logo right there. Now, it might be a little bit difficult here, but on this side, which is going to be the exact same, on the opposite side, it's just it has the price sticker right on there. It's kind of torn up, unfortunately. But this, on this side, you do see where it says Cosmic Era. It's a little dark too. Pretty much a zoomed in image of the illustration from the front and all this wording again. But this is number 253 right there. And then this takes you to BandaiHobby.net. Want to look at that. So what about the longer bottom side here? This talks about the Seed Action System. Very similar to how pretty much all of them almost, I think, have the Seed Action System, but definitely like when I reviewed the Dual Blitz, how that has the Seed Action System stuff on the box and also in the manual too. And then on this side, this is just going over what the Lightning Buster is, and then here's a quick read up of Seed Freedom right there. And then on this side, it's just a lot of standard stuff with these Gunpla boxes. You see the Gunpla logo, as well as a barcode there in case you need it. Now, one thing I forgot to do before this actual section was take a look at the sticker sheet on its own, so I apologize for that. I built it before taking an image, but there it's a pretty small sheet of stickers, so we'll talk about that during the detailed portion. We have 8 runners total for this one. It is less parts compared to the Dual Blitz, but it still has a lot of stuff going on here. As you see here, as soon as we open the box, we do have a cream-colored runner, or it's more of an off-white. It's definitely more cream-colored, though. And we do have parts of the Seed Action System runner there. Very familiar if you built the Dual Blitz from recently. Then we have more of that orangish type of runner that also comes with, you know, the gray weapon parts and another cream-colored runner as well. Then we have some green here, dark green, as well as some neon green. Well, not really neon, definitely more bright, transparent green, definitely. But we also have the instruction manual here too. A couple of these pages are in color and the rest are in black and white, which is pretty standard for Gunpla releases. And here is the model kit completely built out of the box. I think I enjoyed building this a little bit more than Dual Blitz. Not that that was bad at all, it's just things got a little complicated at some points, which it makes sense because that dual shroud. But this here, I think as an overall model kit built completely as like a figure, I think I do like Dual Blitz a little bit more now. This is still really cool. Doesn't come with that much stuff, so I'll try to breeze through that really quick, and then we'll take a closer look at the model kit. And this is all we get in terms of accessories. Now, we get 2 of these. These are alternate barrels for the hip beam guns, so they're really just alternate parts. I don't really know if they could technically be accessories, but this is the one folded out like this. So the idea is when you don't use these, so the arms get in the way unless you push them all the way out. You fold this at the waist right here. This folds out, and then this barrel is tucked in. Well, it's supposed to be a barrel, but that's blocked off there. But you see that, you know, when you're not using those, they're supposed to be tucked in all the way. And with that barrel, you slide it out like this with this part. And yes, you do get 2 of these folded in barrel sections. Did not realize that this doesn't have, that's kind of weird that that's not hollow at all. But, or maybe that's accurate because I haven't seen Seed Freedom. I don't know, guys. Again, I could be a tourist, an absolute tourist, unfortunately. But this is what we get with these hip beam gun sections. And folding putting it in, you know, trying to get the arm positioned in there is a little slightly yeah, God, trying to do this through the camera is a little tricky, but you know, if you take a little bit more time, more than what I'm doing, then pull these out maybe like this a little bit, and yeah, you have it post like this. You can have it post with these cannon sections going up here if you really wanted to, like that too, and then push, oh boy, push this out. Yeah, you be careful with these two. Since we have a little bit of time here, I'm just quickly playing around with this, and that's kind of the idea. I think that what they're going for here, I could definitely be doing this better, but not too bad. It's just we don't really have anything else in terms of accessories. Maybe some extra hands. High grades, unfortunately, especially in recent years, don't really get that many hands. There's some high grades in like 2009 I have a ton of hands, but we don't really with these, unfortunately. But still, I mean, these are so nice for the function that is needed to be done. Now I'm going to level with you guys. I can't memorize the exact names with all those letters of how the weaponry is supposed to be called. So I have an image from the back of the instruction manual basically going over what each name actually is, so you have an idea of the actual names. I'm just going to boil things down to the most basic names, like these back shoulder cannons. And these things, they flip up here. This is on a ball joint section right there from the backpack and going into the actual cannon. This little groove, I mean, you could probably use this groove if you wanted to, but you're going to have way more of a uniform fit that is basically, I'm not doing the greatest job. Yeah, I could do better. But that's basically perpendicular with this one. Fold this one out as well. Also, the placement of the arms might be important too, the way the shoulders are done. Then you'll fold these out, these cannon sections, and you'll be careful with this. The section is supposed to lock it in place because that is a little thin and it could be stressed. But there's a little notch on the inside right here. Yeah, push that in and out. And then, yeah, it clicks in. It shouldn't click in all the time, but you can see how that joint works going on in there. These things are long, and I have not measured these out yet. Maybe I'll do that in the measurement section. But yeah, these things, again, not doing the greatest job. Could be better, but these things are very long guns. They do look pretty cool. A little bit of, really not much in terms of a barrel going on in there, of course, but you'll just fold these back out. You push these up and down, in and out, all the way around. You know, loop-de-loop and all that. Just push this back down. So not too big of a deal. We also have this missile backpack system here. And I would also be careful with these little sections. They could be a little fragile and if you start bending things a little too much. But this backpack missile section here does reveal actual missiles. I haven't painted these. I don't know if these are supposed to be the same color as this like reddish orange going on here. We do have a color guide. I didn't look at it carefully to see what these would be. You could make these red or whatever color you want with, you know, whatever paint you need with a paintbrush, or even like a Gundam marker you probably get in there with that too. So let's push these down. Actually, before I push these down, really nice detailing of these color separation parts right there. I do dig that. Last but not least, with the weaponry, we already talked about these. So I'll go over them real quick again. A sticker going on these hip beam guns, and we have this... pretty much all of this is one piece, I'm pretty sure, with how to handle is done there. Excuse me. So we're going to push that back out. And let's talk about the actual head here. You could see these chin pieces. Yeah, so they are stickers, and you can see with that glossiness. They actually are hidden a little. They're not. They're hidden well, I should say, until you get really close and you start to see some cuts in there from the actual stickers and how the paper is done. That's a little unfortunate. I do wish that these were, I know it would have been a little difficult, but I wish these were small part separated sections, if I'm being quite honest. You can't get much worse in terms of face stickers, if you ask me, compared to the high grade Guxian, which this has to be one of my least favorite. I mean, it actually doesn't look too bad here, but it has to be one of my least favorite face stickers of all time. The whole thing, besides some white, which is the plastic, the whole thing with colors is a face sticker. So this definitely could be worse. And that's just, you know, that's personally me. I'm not crazy about those face stickers. Maybe someone doesn't care as much. We also have these green eye stickers with a black outline. Very standard. This headpiece here is covering a green head camera sticker. They have nice defense sections. And then there is a green back head camera sticker, which is a little hard to see. Yeah, you can kind of get an idea. The shadows are also covering that. It's almost like a lime green. these stickers. So if you have any metallic green Gundam markers, they may be a little too dark for that, and you'll want to just match whatever green is if you're going to paint these. Getting to, well, the chin also was also done pretty well. Like all the part separation in the face is really nice. Then we have like next, how the detailing that neck is done. I don't know if that is reused in the seat action system from Dual Blitz. I don't have it with me right now, but the shoulders, the outer armor sections are new. You can see how these like lime green translucent sections are piercing through, looking really nice. It's not really the right word, but everything layers on here pretty nice. It's not a super complicated system with the shoulders, definitely not. But you have these hollow sections for fitting parts on there. I forgot to mention metallic green stickers on the side right there, looking pretty cool. But then we have this. This definitely looked like something from the seat action system of the Dual Blitz going on in there. And like anything that would be an inner frame, which is really just inner sections of articulation and some gray parts, that's pretty much the seat action system. I think these might be, these like gray sections here might be reused. Definitely the way that these elbows built up, it was definitely reminiscent of the Dual Blitz going on there. I forgot to mention this separate section right here. And kind of, I don't know if it's the exact same part, but this is a little, I could be wrong. This bicep section also reminds me of the Dual Blitz. I don't have that on me right now. I got to find that. I put it somewhere. But there's a lot of new. So if you thought there was just a bunch of reuse, there definitely is a lot of new. You have this kind of like sand or cream colored white going on here, which all of it, it looks really good in all of it, wherever it is used. Nice detailing right here. I have not panel lined this. It definitely is going to look a little better. Once panel lined, we have a separate section for the joint connection for the wrist there. So this whole thing I'm pointing to, you can see where that gap is. That is a separate piece. The hands are fine. Just how these hands are done. The back of the hands. If you wanted to, you could give this weapon if you want to, because the back of the hands are removable. And then we do have these stickers right here, which those could easily be painted as well, but they don't look too bad with those stickers if you ask me. I think these are supposed to be either a very, very dark gray or a black, and I have not painted in these line sections yet. Probably will do that after review. I usually show off how things look before I would paint and panel line things, with an exception of a couple of model kits probably. But even before painting, there's really nice colors going on here. And I'm not crazy about these side skirt sections. Big complaint of mine is the hips keep coming undone. I don't remember this being an issue with Dual Blitz. I'll have to look at that. But yeah, when I move things around and rotate things, and even push things down, these want to keep, like, that is really easy to remove that. And then, you can push this in rather easily, but I might have to cement some things, at least the connection points, so that way I don't completely ruin the articulation in the legs. But as right now, over time, slowly it will get undone, especially with thigh swivels. And if you actually go in, swivel in like that, and mostly out, that should be fine. You can see here, moving front skirts, these are separated. The instructions don't say to separate them. You can if you want to. I took a gamble because sometimes they end up being just irreversibly loose once I cut them. Maybe they're always going to be loose even if I didn't cut them. These are a pretty nice connection. Feels a tiny bit loose, but it is stable enough to where it's going to keep this pose. So I am not going to complain about that too much. And that's really more of an articulation section type of thing. All that detailing on the back here, how the back skirt is done. Well, I guess these vent sections, mostly part separation in the torso, which I completely glossed over, honestly. But then we have the separated chest section, which that looks really cool how that's separated. And you can kind of see how the inner joints look here. And then I think these elbows are reused from the seat action system from Dual Blitz. Then we get down to leg armor. We have a seam line here, which that can be fixed up with if you know how to do that. But it also works as a panel line. You can see there. These are separate sections to give some room. They're protruding upward a little bit to give some room for that this section right here, so you can go forward. Yeah, so I don't know how I did that just now. That's the thing about model kit reviews. Sometimes things like to come undone. So let me see if I can even fix this right here again. And again, I want to go over articulation in its own section, but you can, shimmy the hips down so that way
if you need to. It's probably a little easier to actually just get your finger in there. These are also on a ball joint, so they should be relatively simple to pop out, but you have this section right here. This is a separate piece right here of this, so that's going to sandwich that in there, honestly. And I'm just going to push it in like so, if I can even manage. Yeah, it should be fine. You can see a peg hole on the bottom right there for any action base you want to use. Excuse me. Back on the back of the legs. Not much. There's the detailing that is in that seat action system, however that is done. You have these part separations of this cream colored white with the gray there, a little bit of these like vents kind of, and then these detailed sections on the front of the knees there, looking just fine. Getting all the way down, you do have a lot of part separation, mostly right here. Actually, it all blends in together pretty well. Pretty sure it's part separated, because I could definitely see a mold line going on right, or yeah, seam line going on in there. It might just be this front section, and then these are just sandwiched together. Yeah, that's what I believe. That's what that is. Then you have these ankle sections here. They only get slotted in one area, but they are very secure. I feel like the ankles, at least this ball joint section where you see at the foot, that seems a little loose, unfortunately, so it doesn't seem super stable, but this is the detailing on the bottom of the feet, which looks pretty good. Not much to complain about there. Looking on the top one more time. Hopefully I wasn't too all over the place. This is a pretty nicely detailed kit. Very, again, you know, some things are reused from Dual Blitz, so you're going to have certain details reused from that, especially in the seat action system. But on its own, lots of unique stuff going on here with how the detailing is done. And part separation is really cool. It didn't talk about the part separation of the green with the gray here, and even like these back vent sections that you can kind of see going on there. And this backpack can also be popped out if you really want to, which you probably don't want to unless you're doing some type of custom where the custom is using this. So still really nicely detailed, very good looking kit. Two things before articulation. One, the backpack here is going to get in the way a little bit, but you have an idea of how the ball jointing works. I've already talked about this. I've talked about the hinging of these parts, and I've already talked about how these parts move out here, and you can place all that. So that's that part of the articulation. Now for the actual head, you have a ball joint as well as a hinge going into the body there. So this allows it to go up actually pretty far and then rock a little bit and go down and then swivel. And then you can go a little bit. It's a little bit difficult to grab because of these things being in the way here. And you can go not really that much side to side really, but you do have forward motion here. Not really going back that much. You can kind of fake it with this ball joint right here. But these go all the way around. Things are probably going to get snagged, so just be wary of that. This moves here, and then this part actually hinges as well. So this actual arm will also go all the way out here. And I've already kind of gone over every part of that. Upper arm swivel here. We do have a double jointed elbow. Pretty nice and stiff actually, but still pretty easy to move at the same time. Ball jointed wrist, excuse me. It swivels here. You can pull it out a little bit to make it go up and down a little bit, but pushing it all the way, it's kind of restricted to swiveling. A little bit of hindering going on here. Not too bad though with the abs. I can go back a little bit with some combined motion of two sections in here. Forward like this, swiveling. Yeah, that's pretty tight. And then this waist piece likes to get in the way. So we do have side to side right here. Back doesn't really want to move. And then you can make this go forward, push this, and then forgot to mention that drop down system. So yeah, the hips keep breaking at some point here. They keep separating. So I need to fix that with some cement. And then that goes out here. And then that can swivel like that. And then this also is on a ball joint. It's really only regulated to forward and back like so. Then we have a double jointed knee, which there we go. Moves a little bit better now. It was just the bottom that was moving for a second. And then we do have, this moves on its own, so it can swivel around just a little bit. And goes like a traditional ankle rocker, actually, side to side. Up. That's the combined motion with this ball joint in the foot here. But without that, it really doesn't want to go up that far. But that's what that looks like. Up. And then trying to go down. Yeah, not great. But yeah, some of the articulation is,
Could be better. Mostly these just won't stop separating. Then the feet aren't great, and then this waist section isn't great. But the rest of it is pretty decent. A little bit of a longer measurement section because I want to show off what this cannon looks like in measurements first. This is about 15.5 centimeters. That's pretty long. Then you see here it's going to be around the 6-inch range, completely extended, and that is longer than the Buster Gundam here. So let's take a look at Lightning Buster next to a bunch of other stuff here. We're going to go with, let's say 13, a little over 13 centimeters if you want to go to the top of those V-fins, not including the backpack, adding any height there. You do have around 5 to a little under 5.25 inches tall. That is the high-grade Command Quanta that I built recently. Not going to be able to review that before the end of the year. And that is going to be around the same height, maybe a little bit shorter. Definitely shorter than an SH Figuarts Your Forger that I had lying around. Then compared to a Marvel Legends and standard size Black Series, those standard figures, they're definitely going to be taller. Overall, pretty nice model kit. Not in love with it, unfortunately. It's not god-awful or anything. Not crazy about the color correcting stickers, and some of the construction here is not as good as I would wish it to be. Things are a little bit loose, mostly in the hip sections. And then sometimes parts of the cannon seem a little bit like stressed on the plastic, mostly where that ball joint section hinges and connects from the backpack to the actual cannon. So be careful with all of that. Some of the articulation is definitely hindered in like the ankles, legs. They're not really entirely the legs, but definitely that torso. But the rest of the articulation is really nice. I forgot to mention, marking on this is almost non-existent. I forgot that there were nub marks at all because I was able to clean them off very easily. So I think that is also really nice because I'm a big stickler on the markings on these kits. It doesn't come with that much stuff, and I don't think it was really meant to. It doesn't really need that much stuff. It does have extensions for those, beam cannon, hip barrels going on there. Overall, really nicely detailed too. Nice color separation in the plastic for the most part. And for 28 bucks, is it worth it? Maybe I would wait for it to be a little bit more cheap because that is a little steep. I mean, for $1 more, you're getting the Dual Blitz, which has a lot of stuff going on with that Soul Shroud. So Lightning Buster here, not god-awful. Just wish it was a little bit better. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the model kit, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.